What is up, ladies and gentlemen of the online Jamily, JamiroFan2000, the beard of wisdom of the online Jamily here with yet another episode of the Jamiroquai Minute. All the latest Jamiroquai news and former Jamiroquai band member and band member of the brand new heaviest Simon Bartholomew was recently on BBC Radio Scotland talking about the early days of the fledgling acid jazz movement in London concerning many bands like Brand New Heavies and Jamiroquai. So let's get into more news about that.
Hi, I'm Derek from Jamiroquai, and I'm here with my good friend JamiroFan2000, and you're watching the Jamiroquai Minute here live from the UK, England.
In former Jamiroquai band members talking about the salad years of the acid jazz movement in London scene, I had to go to Jamiroquai Minute to note that former Jamiroquai band member and, of course, primary band member of the other great acid jazz band, a luminary of the time, of course, I'm talking about the Brand New Heavies. Well, he was recently interviewed by BBC Radio Scotland and kind of touched on in a nice little clip that was shared via that social media for BBC Radio Scotland, talking about the early days of him and other bands during the fledgling London acid jazz movement of the time, about how the Jamiroquai and Brand New Heavies and all these bands were just playing where they could play around London during this very small, isolated musical movement of acid jazz bands that saw a resurgence in London around the early 1990s, primarily during the period of 1990 through 1993. But that little clip was shared, of course, on the BBC Radio Scotland official social media. So if you'd like to check out this great little clip from this interview with a former Jamiroquai band member and Brand New Heavies band member Simon Bartholomew about the early days of fledgling bands during the acid jazz movement in London of the early 90s, I'll be sure to put a link to that clip that was available from the BBC Radio Scotland official social media down in the description area of this episode of the Jamiroquai Minute down below, so be sure to check that out in your own time. And as always, this is JamiroFan2000, and I'll see you really soon with another Jamiroquai Minute. Bye-bye, everybody. Take care. Exciting times, and I'll see you around.